Google wasn't a thing. You couldn't go on Google and find somebody else. You had to get in the yellow pages. So a lot of times they would sit and wait for you.
How many of you guys have gotten a verbal yes on like, oh yeah, that sounds good, and then you go home, you're at the estimate, and then you never hear back?
Desired neighborhoods, undesirable neighborhoods. Donald, I told you before, I did Mike Brown's basement, right? He owns the Bengals. He's a billionaire.
Sometimes you win just by being the only one that took him seriously.
Like, we had really huge jobs, but we'll take the small jobs too. First year, we started off in 8 months. We did about 1.3 at about 52%. And again, quick math, you know, half of 1.3, we made about $600,000.
How many? It's crazy, but we have guys that are like, oh yeah, the customer wants to start the project. They said yes to me. We went to the estimate. If money doesn't exchange hands, it was not yes. So if you want to take away, what we're really talking about here is like the foundation of contractor sales. And it really, before we build on top of the foundation, we got to make sure that like our principles are set when we're going to the home.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But Willie, if you want to talk about yourself, kind of like what you know about construction sales.
Yeah. So today we really gonna focus on the foundation, right? Like we all contractors, we build stuff, right? And you know, a house on sand cannot stand, right? So we want to get a solid foundation. So that's what we're doing today, right? So again, I've been in this industry a very long time. Personal sales, about $15 million, 15 and some change for myself as a salesperson. Started a business, was sales manager, training guys there, trained and managed a sales team that did over $12 million in 3 years from when we started. So my whole background is the structure of sales. Sales isn't just something that you wing. If you wing it, you'll get variable results. And I think a lot of times that's what we're doing as a whole in this industry. And I think the foundation really needs to be laid. So that's what we're gonna do today.
Yep, that's really. And here's the problem: like everyone sounds the same. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I talk to probably 10 new contractors a day, right? And we have 100 guys that are working within this program.
Yeah.
And every day I'm talking to these guys on the phone and they're like, oh, I'm the best at sales. Like I close 90% of the guys I go out to. Right.
See, Donald laughing because he know it. Like
here's like, why don't you demonstrate what most contractors' sales game looks like?
Yeah. So you talk to them, you talk about it. They all say, wait, I close like 9 out of 10. I'm closing at 90%. Like these guys talk about it, right? And when they talk about it, you would think that if they were closing 9 out of 10, they wouldn't need help, right? And then another thing that you hear, we got some feedback. Okay, we got you. So another thing that you hear when you talk to contractors is what? Everybody else's work sucks. I'm the greatest work. Everything I do is quality, right? But everybody else's stuff is not quality. We hear that all the time.
Everyone says like,
yes,
my work is quality. Like when you go with me, the price I charge is because I provide quality work. I'm not a cheap contractor. I provide quality work. I provide quality work. Dude, everybody says I provide quality work. It's like, it gives me a headache because that's what everyone says. And like everyone sounds like robotic. Everyone sounds the same.
Yeah. And the only way they say they provide quality work is by juxtaposing it to somebody else. So if they say, hey, I provide quality work, and Land and Zion and Donna, they don't. Like that's not how it works, right? Like you can say anything, right? But some things you have to build, improve through your processes and things like that. So we really want to jump into that because again, everybody in this industry sounds exactly the same. And it's not a productive way to sound. So we want to talk about that today.
Yep. I close 90% of jobs. Like if you're talking to your uncle from, the neighborhood barbecue, or it's like your best friend or like your best friend at church, like if it's somebody that you already know and it's just a referral, of course they're going to close. Yeah. And if that's all that you've ever done, then you're going to feel like you're the best salesman in the world. And typically when guys come to us and say, I'm the best salesman in the world, it's because they've only sold their friends and family.
Yeah. And or they just eliminate the ones they don't close and don't put it into their closing percentage, right? Like they kind of juke.
Oh, I closed 9%. Oh, except for those types of people.
Except for the 12 I didn't close last week, right? Like, but yeah, I the ones I closed, I'm at 90%. It's like the mindset is off, right? Because again,
because you were like, talk about your closing rate when you were
like almost 44%.
Okay.
And that was, I didn't start at almost 44%, right? If you're doing this and you closing 1 out of 3, you'll make a whole lot of money, right? If you can close every third person you talk to, you know, you'll make your
So
money.
you were like elite, Willie. You were closing 44% of people. So 44% of the time you're walking out of the home with a check.
I'm leaving here. I'm leaving out of here with some. You hear me?
Okay.
But again, that was, we'll talk about it though, how I got to being at 44%,
Right.
right?
So let's talk about the foundation. Like this is what you need to start out with, right? And this is what you teach. So when you were training new sales reps for your business and new field estimators, this is what you would start with, right?
We don't have field estimators, Nick.
Yeah,
But
I hate the term field estimator, by the way, 'cause it sounds like you're an order taker.
yeah, so yeah, and we'll touch on that. But like, yes, the foundation of a lead, right? What is a lead? All right. A lead is an opportunity to go to work. Nothing more, nothing less. Right. I hear all the time, like, oh, the leads this, the leads aren't that. I get it. I get it. Leads are what they are. But if you change your mind frame to this is something I'm going to work, then it'll change how you think about it, right? So a lead is an opportunity. If you look in most CRMs, they don't call them leads. They call them opportunities. So that's for a reason. Every lead is an opportunity to go to work. And if you look at it like, okay, I got a lead, it's time to go to work, instead of like, I'm trying to get a sale. Obviously, we know what we're here for, right? It's a brass tacks kind of a business. But that lead is merely an opportunity, plain and simple. You can't think of it anymore from the moment you get it, besides that it's an opportunity. So we want to maximize those. And then speaking on, estimators, not an order taker, man. We're not estimators. Like we will provide estimates, but we're not estimators. If your idea of going out to a lead, um, just to leave a number, you'll lose a lot.
Like here's what most contractors' sales process looks like. It's like they get a call from a marketing lead, or it's a friend, or it's a family, or however they end up getting that contact. They go out there, they take measurements, then they're like, okay, Stacy, I'll be back in 2 to 3 days. You'll get an email from me with the numbers. They go home, they put the bid together. They spend like hours on this estimate, excruciating detail. They're calling up their subs, like how much this is going to cost. They itemize it. They're like, this is the most professional bid ever. Homeowners going to know exactly where their money's going.
Yep.
They send out that email 2 days after their initial conversation.
Yeah.
All right.
You want
Raise your, okay. Everyone starts out that way. So don't feel bad if that's your current process, Lan. But look, you're like 95% of contractors operate that way.
It's the standard. It's what we get taught, right? So, like I said, like Nick said, don't feel bad. A lot of us in this business, we learn this game from old men, right? And old men have old men habits, right? So a lot of how they operate is real archaic, right? There wasn't as much competition. The market wasn't flooded the way it is now, right? It was, you couldn't, a lot of these guys like Donald, I know you learned the game from your father, right? I know that when he got in this business, Google wasn't a thing. You couldn't go on Google and find somebody else. You had to get in the yellow pages. That took work. So a lot of times they would sit and wait for you. It's not the same anymore, right?
If
So
you
like,
leave that house,
yeah, if
or
you
like let's say you get, like if I got an email, and then it was like 45,000. Like let's say that's a really reasonable estimate, right? Like let's say like you're really doing them a favor by going low. It's 45 grand. I'm open to like it doesn't matter if that's a good estimate or if that's a fair price. I'm immediately shell shocked. Like damn, because like at the house, I had no idea what this was going to cost. I didn't get any indication this was going to be 45, or maybe you gave a verbal, and they're like, oh yeah, that totally works. How many of you guys have gotten a verbal yes on like, oh yeah, that sounds good, and then you go home, you're at the estimate, and then you never hear back.
see,
Hmm.
it's common. It's common.
And the good news though is like once you do it the way that we're about to teach you, like your guys are going to level up so quickly because like no one else is doing it. There's like no competition on guys that
Yeah,
do it properly.
yeah.
It's
You
crazy.
know, and the last thing about the leads, right? On the part of the foundation of the lead, you don't know what's going to happen with a lead until you call it, right? Um, you know, desired neighborhoods, undesirable neighborhoods. Donald, I told you before, I did Mike Brown's basement, right? And then great, he owns the Bengals. He's a billionaire. Fantastic. Got a referral for his neighbor. Neighbor was a credit turn down, right? I've also been in neighborhoods that I wouldn't really want to go in by myself anyway. Get there, is the ladies on her porch, it's dark in the house. I'm like, why am I here in my mind? She turns on the lights. It is a super, super duper junky house. I still go through the process. I tell her how much it's gonna cost. She goes get her purse. She writes me a check for $25,000. Right? Again, I don't know. So if I treated her less than, right, then she would have never bought from me.
Mhm.
Good afternoon, Mike.
Good afternoon.
All right.
Sometimes you win just by being the only one that took him seriously.
Most times you win because you the
You
guy who
didn't judge
takes them
them.
seriously. Right? There's a lot
So,
of times
well, what do you tell your guys, Willie, when they get a lead, like when you were training them, and then they go up on Google and they look up the neighborhood?
we don't do that. Right? The only time you should be Googling a house is how so you can know how to get there. Right? I've had guys get on the county auditor website with the address to see what the house is worth. Again, what the house is worth has nothing to do with if you're going to close them or not, right?
It's not going to
I
change.
it's right. So like, yes, we all want to deal with higher end clients, more money in their pocket. That would be fantastic, but every like majority of America is not that. So
So one statistic from your sales game, Willie, like what was like the average close like ticket value?
$18,000,
18,000. So you were
and
closing at 44%. The average job was 18,000.
and that's only because, and again, I know a lot of you guys might not do this the way that we did it. Is that we had a minimum of $2,500. We were picking up everything, right? Like I'm picking up singles, doubles, triples, and home runs. If it was gonna make us money, and again, that's another part of that we'll talk about on another video about just because the ticket looks high doesn't mean you're making money, right? If it was making us money, we were gonna do it. So like we had really huge jobs, but we'll take the small jobs too, right?
But those 18,000s, I mean, that was average. What did it add up to?
On average, we were doing about $2 million a year,
Mhm.
$3 million a year,
And,
2 million the
and
first
you said,
year,
and
then
your margins were over 50%, right?
52%.
52% profit.
So the first year we started off in 8 months, we did about 1.3 at about 52%. And again, quick math, half of 1.3, we made about $600,000.
So again, you don't know until you call.
And a lot of places that we went, if you've seen them, you would probably tell me it was a bad lead.
Yep. So the reality of this business, at the end of the day, you're in sales. So if you're a business owner in construction, you don't call yourself like that you're in sales, like you're already losing
Absolutely.
because you
Like,
just are coming at it from a completely wrong mindset.
yeah. If you don't think you're a salesperson, you will not win. Look, we're contractors, right? But no contract, no contractors. How do we get a contract? We got to sell ourselves. We got to sell the company. We got to sell the product. Like you have to think when you're in a home, you are a salesperson. I know that's a nasty word to a lot of people. There's a lot of distrust with salespeople. Better Business Bureau. They're the two most complained about industries in America are used car salesmen and home improvement. Technically, you both because you're in sales and you're home improvement. So you know what I mean? Like
But again, it's because like no one's about to do it the way we're going to instruct. You're going to instill so much trust in the homeowner if you do it properly.
yeah, like you'll make more money just by not being the guy that they're going to talk to before or after you, right? Because the guy that they're going to talk to before you ain't doing this, right?
Yep.
He's not treating them with care. He doesn't care about their project. He comes in and they can really feel that he only cares about what he wants and his agenda. Homeowners don't care what we want.
Mm,
Like they just don't, right?
right. So this is like the wake up call. So this is probably like the meat and potatoes of this presentation. Like how do you actually run a proper sales process in construction? Because too many of you guys are working for free. Too many of you guys are driving 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour 15 longer, going to an appointment, now 60-minute, 90-minute walkthrough, taking every intricate detail. You're talking about your company. You're doing all this work, right?
Yeah.
And then in the moment when the homeowner is the most emotional and most excited, they're imagining like, oh, these are all these great things that this company is going to do for me. What do 90% of contractors do?
They leave.
They leave. Like
They go
what?
home. They go home and start working on their computer to type up an estimate.
Like what?
Yeah.
In every other industry, that is just like absurd. Construction, then this is why there's so much opportunity, because construction is like there's like every other industry where there's any sales happening. The idea that you would go through this whole presentation and build up all this emotional value about your company and then go home without even presenting a number
Yeah.
or even asking for business.
Yeah.
Like most contractors are not comfortable to ask for business when they show up.
For a number of reasons, right? Part of that is that they don't have the numbers. And again, if you're doing additions and ADUs and stuff, I kind of understand it a little bit more, right? But there are tools for that too.
But
But
let's
part,
talk it for now. This is about kitchens, bathrooms, basements,
yeah,
decks,
yep.
concrete, anything that's
These
not involving an architect.
these are guys who A, don't know their numbers, and B, don't really want to ask for somebody's business and be turned down in person. They're afraid to lose. And that's really boils down to, right? If you're afraid to lose, you're in the wrong business, because we're going to lose. I want to be very, very clear here.
Majority of the time, you're gonna lose. Willie,
Even
you
at
were elite, and you were closing at 40%, right?
and I'm still losing more than I win, right? Like this mindset, treat it like you're a baseball player, right? A baseball player, if he bats 300, that means he didn't get on base 7 times out of 10, and he's still a Hall of Famer if he batted 300. We are not in the 1,000. We're not batting 1,000 here. But too many times, guys are going home and doing these estimates because they don't want to ask for the business in the hand, because it's you feel you if you feel unsure about asking for the business, it's for one or two reasons. You don't trust your processes, you don't trust your price. That's it.
And talking to our clients and people in this industry, it's usually a matter of like they don't want to shoot themselves in the foot. They have this belief where it's like, oh, if I give this number right now, like they're fearful the customer says yes, and then it turns out that maybe they underbid it and then they're underwater.
Yep.
Right? That's usually like I see some guys shaking their head. Like typically guys are afraid to present a number because they're afraid of underbidding and then they shoot themselves in the foot.
Yep.
So like, but think about how backwards that is. Like your biggest fear about presenting a number inside the home and asking for business is that the customer says yes, and you walk out of that home with like 20,000 in your pocket. That's your biggest fear.
40,000, right? Like again, the fear of winning is there, man. Like, because it's the fear of winning mixed with the fear of rejection. If you tell me no off an email, I'm still working, I'm doing something else, I get to know in the email, it don't hurt my feelings. You got to be okay with no, right? You have to be prepared, and you have to be okay with literally putting in the work and not getting what you want out of it. You have to be okay with that. If you're not okay with losing, then you'll never win in this business, because you're going to lose.
But this is a one-call close business.
Absolutely. Like when you show up, you got to be, your mindset needs to be, I'm leaving here with something.
You're leaving here with
A
deposit,
check,
a check, a written agreement,
a credit application,
something.
Right? A check is a metaphor in this sense. It's sometimes a physical check, cash. Just if you get cash, make sure you got receipts. Keep a receipt book with you, right? Because people, if you don't start writing receipt books, they say, "Oh, I never gave you that much money." Keep receipt books, but you have to have the mindset of, if I'm here, I'm going to invest 90 minutes, 2 hours of my time, really going through this process with a homeowner. I need to present price today because they won't be excited tomorrow. Sales is emotional, right? We have to get people emotionally invested in their projects. I like to use the word imagine a lot with homeowners. Imagine what this kitchen is going to feel like on Thanksgiving when we get it done, and your family members here and they're like, "Oh my God, this kitchen looks amazing." so they can start to invest themselves in the process, right? But that's we'll get into that at another time as well. But it's important. Your mindset should be, I'm leaving here with something.
So let's just call it the elephant in the room. The biggest reason why guys are not doing this is either they don't know their numbers, so they don't want to shoot themselves in the foot, or they're actually just not even prepared to take a yes in that moment. Like if the customer says yes, then they're scrambling. They're like, oh, I gotta get the agreement. Oh, I gotta get the payment processor. Okay.
That should already be loaded in whatever apparatus you're using, whether it's an
So like let's
iPad, whether it's
discuss
a
the easy
laptop.
one, right? So like
Yeah.
you need to be prepared inside the home and take a yes. So when you're presenting numbers, it's like, cool. We have a section in the video called call to Uber for this reason. If the customer says yes, like how many it's crazy, but we have guys that are like, oh yeah, the customer wants to start the project. They said yes to me. I want to the estimate. I'm like, okay, cool. So you took a deposit? It's like, what do you mean? So like there's guys out there that are getting yes inside the home and then they're going home
No,
with nothing.
we've had guys tell us they got yeses and didn't get anything after the yes. No contract signed, basically like a handshake agreement. Like this ain't the 60s,
No,
man.
this is 2025.
It's 2025. If they look, man, and call the Uber, I don't think we need to explain that metaphor, right? I think we all grown men in here. Um, if she say yes, call the Uber. It's time to go,
Hmm.
right? So
Wow.
same thing with homeowners. The moment they
I've
tell
been
you,
married. I've been married too long.
I've been married. Look, I've been married. I've been married
I just
19.
figured it out.
Look, I've been married 19 years. It'll be 20 in November. But I still understand, even when I was courting my wife, if she said she was ready to go, ain't no more talking.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gone. So when a homeowner tell you, land, Donald, you know what I mean? Yes. You better start flipping that computer around and have paperwork ready.
You're taking a deposit. Like if money doesn't exchange hands, it was not a yes.
It ain't a contract. It's not a. I've been in situations where you have to be like, hey, to make this legally binding, I need $1 from you. I know you're going to give me whatever tomorrow when you go to the bank and move your funds around or whatever. I still need $1. Or it's not a deal. I need something to tie us together. You know what ties us together with homeowners? Money. There you go. And contracts, paperwork. Same thing as a marriage, paperwork. So that's it there. We really got to start thinking about ourselves as salespeople, man. I know that's hard for us as contractors because we don't. I don't know. Land, do you feel like you're a salesperson? Do you feel like you are? Do you feel like you're a contractor? You can be honest.
I feel like I'm a contractor. I've done the crazy thing is I've done sales in the past where I went into the house with a salesman mentality, and for some reason when I'm doing when I'm running this business, I don't think of myself as a salesman so much.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and it's just like this having this meeting now is really bringing that back to mind. Um, I think one of the onboarding calls I had with Willie, he reminded me that we should be trying to close um,
Yeah.
when we when we meet with the client, and I tried it the next day and closed a two bathroom house. You know, just for asking for the business, and I was like, "What? That's what I used to do. Why was that so hard?" And
Yeah.
I've been doing it since, but it's like I've been hit with a lot of no's, and um and like the last week a guy asked me if I'm crazy for asking for $120,000 um without.
I mean, what was the job though? Like you
It
want to
was an
ask for
addition. It was an addition.
you
Mhm.
got over cheap for 120 grand.
Now that's the down payment.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I need that. I've
So
been
yeah, it's a
listen,
200
yeah,
220 $220,000 project.
yeah, yeah.
But they are, and the whole thing is about like always with the I gotta get more pricing, and I've I sat them down. I told them pull out their computer, look up Google, pull out their phone, look up Google. You can get 3 estimates right now, and it's just, and some people are just stubborn, and
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, you're gonna run into that, but like
right.
thanks for sharing that. So let's talk about it. right?
Yeah, for
But like,
sure.
you're doing well by asking for a business inside the home. Like most guys don't even go that far
Yeah,
because like if you leave the house, they're immediately going to get 3 other estimates. They're just going to Google 2 other companies and just get some numbers.
100%.
But
100%.
I mean, Willie, I think we have a course dedicated to like price objections inside the home.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Part of the price objections are, right, like obviously he let you know what it was, right? You know, he thought the money that you were asking for was too much, right? Um, Homeowners want simply 2 things. They want the price, and they want you to get out the house. Simple, right?
Yeah.
That's all they want. They don't they don't want anything else from us, right? But when we get in there, we go through our processes and we slow them down, right? Sales is about control. And I don't want you to think about like we're not like bullying nobody, but you have to make a homeowner feel comfortable through the way you control the conversation. Pricing objections are because either if they really just think it's too much, I'm okay with that loss, right? But if they want to shop, that means I didn't build enough value in the price that I'm offering this person. Because price without value is just a very big number that they're always going to say no to, right? So maybe he didn't see the value in the price. Now, if he saw the value in the price and he just thought it was too much, let him shop. And then he'll talk to other contractors and they'll be around the same price and he'll realize that you're not crazy. And then you have an opportunity for follow up, right? But if we don't present stuff with value attached to it, it's just a huge number, right? I've closed ADUs where I've got $100,000 checks as down payments. It happens, right? But and again, you know what they say on commercials, results not typical. Like I'm not saying this is something that happens all the time, but the process never changes. If he doesn't see the value in the numbers that you present, it's going to be hard to overcome it. So I'll ask you, like, do you feel like he saw the value, or you feel like, I mean, you know, you say it was stubborn, but like that happens sometimes. But do you think he saw the value in what you were offering him?
No, the reason I don't think he saw the value is because a lot of these customers I've been noticing aren't realistic in their budget.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times they I deal with a lot of older customers too, where they might have built the house for $100,000, or
Yeah.
bought the house for they might have bought the house in 2008 or whatever for like $200,000, and
Yep.
here the kitchen cost 60,000, and they don't understand why this kitchen cost 60,000, why this bathroom cost 20,000, like. So a majority of my customers, if I don't, I guess you can ask the rest of the other contractors too, but that's what I've been experiencing. They don't understand what things cost these days.
Yeah. So here's a very difficult question that I want everyone to think about. If the customer doesn't know what things cost, or they thought like, "Wow, I thought it was going to be less than that," whose fault is that? Is the customer supposed to know what things cost? Like, is the customer supposed to know that a kitchen costs 60 grand? I mean, I think it's reasonable to think it costs 20. Like, let's say I'm not a contractor, right? Let's say I don't know this business. I never really step foot in a Home Depot regularly, like at all.
Right.
Maybe I watch HGTV for fun, and I'm dreaming about like renovating my house.
Right.
Should I be like the average American? Should I expect that this kitchen is going to cost 60 grand?
Absolutely not.
Probably not.
Not
Probably not.
Like
probably.
I get it's our job to teach
Absolutely.
them and show them what the cost is. The issue though is when you go and you tell them, hey, roughly my numbers are like 350 to 400 per square foot when you're on the phone. And then you go out to visit for an ADU addition or for a new build.
Mhm.
You still can't really give them an exact like I don't know. For me, I can only take a $1,000 deposit. Like that's the max I can take. I can't take $100,000
Yeah,
deposit.
you're in
That's
California, though. That's just the law.
yeah,
California
yeah.
got
That is
bumper
insane.
rails
Yeah.
on it.
When you guys said
Yeah,
100,000, I was like, God, I need to
Yeah,
get
anywhere in
out.
California, you can walk away with
yeah. You Zayed, you in
like in Atlanta.
California.
Like,
California is totally different. They put guardrails up on what you can get up front. We
So,
get that.
yeah, so the guys, well, a lot of the clients that I go to, they expect to be able to get at least 3 bids before they decide who to go with. And like, one of the guys I submitted a bid to for an ADU, He was just like, hey, I already have one. Just, someone gave him like 120 bid, just not an actual proposal. And then
Yeah.
he needed mine, and now he's waiting for one more before he decides on where he wants to go with it. Right. So, and a lot of times with these bigger projects, you can't give them a number on the spot. Just an example, today I'm going to a site that is, the guy has the plans. He sent it to me last night. I'm reviewing it, and it's like a 4,000 foot construction project, 4,000 square foot project, right? In terms of the build, you can't really give a number and secure a contract day one when I go to meet him. He wants to meet me to see who I am and kind of like understand my background, the history, and then walk through the current space, because we're going to demo it and rebuild. So I can't go today and say, hey, it's going to cost you this much and sign a contract, because I still have to get all the subs together, and there's steel beams involved. There's a lot of things involved in this project. So how would you tackle this? Because that's kind of the people I'm seeing at the moment, which is a good thing. I'm getting these opportunities, but I need to be able to, close the deal, but it's going to take time, right?
Right. So,
Zayad, is that, yeah, you said you're in California?
Yes, Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you guys price by square foot? Because like over here, a 4,000 square foot, I can say that's 1.2 million.
Yeah, no, I expect it to be around 1.6 actually.
yeah.
Okay.
Just like, that's just a rough number, right? But then it could be more depending on what he actually wants.
Finishes and all. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's hard to actually quantify it until you actually dig into it, and you also sit with all your subs and understand what it's going to cost them.
Okay.
All right. So this is valuable. This is really valuable. You did mention that you talk about price over the phone. I would
Yes.
stop doing. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Okay.
Absolutely not. Like, because you can eliminate yourself before you even get a chance to show up.
Okay.
Right? We don't talk pricing. Price needs to be in person. Obviously, you doing ADUs, a lot of stuff like that, you might have to. I would say, hey, listen, if you don't believe me, just try it. I know you don't use handoff right now, so handoff. If you put everything that you're gonna put into this job in handoff, it will be within 2% of what you're doing. I guarantee.
I know, Mike, you're trying to do it.
Yeah, I can tell you, I started using handoff like 3 or 4 days ago, and I just did I put a couple jobs in that I have already done. And one job was within $200. And I priced up another job just this morning on handoff. And I can tell you everything is right on point with that thing. I mean, you got to double check, walk through, read everything.
Of course.
Change your markups a little bit if you need to change your markups, all that stuff like that.
I never even heard of handoff.
Mike, what size project were you bidding? What did you have? Were you able to kind of import the plans, or?
Well, it wasn't anything that big. These were all smaller. Like one was like a bathroom, like a $25,000 bathroom, which is like a real basic bathroom. And then another one was just like a demo job, but it was like a demo job in like a 2,000 square foot house.
Right.
But everything was like right. It's fast and it's very accurate.
Yeah, so in the handoff, there's a section in the course in the, I think, 7-figure referrals section where we talk about the AI estimate software, handoff.
Yeah.
There's like a link that we have because with Quote Magnet, we've reached out to them and negotiated that. So you get like a whole month for free plus like 50% off the subscription. And it's like nothing. It's like $20 a month or some $40 a month. Really not expensive at all.
And the thing is, sorry, Nick, to Zayad, like, don't think just because you're doing something even more detailed, it won't be accurate. This is what I'm telling you. If everything that you put into how you put your estimates together, if you put it in handoff, you'll be like, wow. Because I mean, it's not just generic. You put your location in there so they understand pricing. You can put your margin in there. How much money? I mean, what's your percentage of margin you want it to be. It's very, very specific. It won't lose you money. We're not here to help you guys lose money, right? We're here to make you money, to have you a comfortable margin. Now, you talking about with your subs, that's a different conversation. You know, obviously, do you keep the same crew or do you sub? You get different subs based on
So,
what you're doing.
So for I kind of split it for the like luxury or high end. You know, I've got a set of two subs for each trade for that, and then for the lower end spectrum, 3 subs for each trade that I basically go to every time for quotes.
Okay, so I would recommend, again, can't tell you how to run your business, but your subs need to have they just need to get a flat fee. If they're not okay with getting whatever percentage you're agreeing with on any job, like, look, they shouldn't get more money out of you based on how much money you signing up,
Okay. All
right?
Use that
Like,
for
they supposed to get a
blocking off
percentage
areas, right?
based on the work.
Looks like there's someone in the back.
Yeah, I was about to say, can you say that again?
No, so with your subs, right? Like, I know a lot of times I hear guys say, well, I gotta talk to my subs and see how much it's gonna cost. They get a flat rate. Like, the price is they get a percentage of the job. That's their fee. Otherwise, they'll run it up on you. Let's be clear, subs are in sales too. And if you leave them to their own devices, they will try to take as much out the pot as they want. It's there. Listen, flat fee, 7%. 7% on a $200,000 job is a chunk of change. If you just say, hey, how much is it going to cost? They're going to tell you whatever. They're going to make up a number because they're trying to make money too. Right. But that comes with building relationships with your subs and really having them trust you and you keeping them busy, those type of things.
Thank you.
But letting your subs tell you how much something going to cost is not going to be beneficial for you in the long run. It's going to cut into your margins. Right. You tell the sub how much it's going to make. If they say yes, then great. If not, we got to.
That's not bad. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool.
Oh,
Great.
Willie,
Thank you.
there's someone called iPhone. Can you unmute them
Mhm.
real quick? Okay.
Got it. Yep. So, but yeah, the sub part I get, you know, but I'm not saying like dictate to them, right? We're not dictators, but look, if you tell the sub, let's just say it was $100,000 job, right? And you told them they were getting 7%. I mean, you think your crew ain't gonna be happy with $7,000? Like, who's not? Like, most of them work for less than that.
That's how you run your business, Willie. Like,
Absolutely.
can you give me an example, right, of like a hypothetical project?
So this is the thing. My subs, I knew like I have my crews, right? Every crew has a foreman. Every crew, I get to you, Mike. Every crew has a foreman. Every crew has an electrician. Every crew has a plumber. That's the way I want to do it because I don't want to have to keep subbing out when I need to rough out plumbing in a basement or something like that, right? So they're all here. They're getting a percentage of the job, right? It doesn't matter. Like, I mean, again, it's not like I'm paying you $200 a day. I'm not doing that. I want you to feel comfortable that, like, if it's a $200,000 job, I'm not just giving you $200 a day. Because think about how bad they're getting hustled at that point, right? Like, paying them a flat fee, no matter what the job is, don't seem fair to me. So you get a percentage of the contract, right? But the deadlines have to be met. Everything else you have to do has to be met. And we'll give you, look, I'll give you that 7%. 7% is a lot of money. Sales guys only get about 10%, 15% if they really good, 20% if you got a good manager, you know? Like, but don't let them dictate to you how much it's going to cost, like, at all. Like, you'll definitely be losing money that way. Mike, I see you got your hand up in the app. So what's going on?
I gotta say too, another bonus in the handoff app there is that it's gonna spell out exactly what each trade should be making on this. You know, literally, it's gonna tell you like, here's what the sheetrock's gonna cost. Here's what you should be paying your sheetrocker. You know, same thing with the plumbing, the HVAC. If you just spell it all out in the app, I mean, a job that might take you, 3 days to bid, you could literally do it in less than an hour if it's a really, really big job. If it's like a little job, you could do the thing in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it spells it out for you.
The thing about it is the more detailed, the better. It's a garbage in, garbage out system. I'm sure you guys heard me say that sometimes. It's a thing. The better information you give it, the better, So imagine you were just using that as an estimate, whatever estimate tool you were using. Just take all of that information and put it in handoff and watch the estimate give you something accurate in minutes, not hours, not days.
And so how it looks like inside the home is like, there's no reason now why you can't give numbers inside the home. Doesn't matter how big the number. I mean, maybe an addition or ADU or custom home, but that's like, we'll talk about that in a second, Zayed. But like everything else that's not an addition or ADU or new build, that if handoff is able to present those numbers in 5 minutes, right? You just politely tell the customer, I mean, Willie, how would you do it? Right? You go to the truck.
Yep. Look, when it's time to break down pricing, right? Like, hey, look, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, I know we went through a lot here today. Just give me about, 10, 12 minutes. I'm gonna go out to my vehicle, put some numbers together, and come back. We'll talk next steps. How's that sound? Simple. How's that sound is a question we need to be asking homeowners too. It's because you ask if it's okay, they can tell you no. I've never had somebody tell me when I ask them how's that sound, no. They're like, okay. So then it gives you some time because you don't want to put numbers together in front of them. I know that's part of the reason we also send estimates the next day, because you don't want to just like be working on your computer, working your estimates. But if you go to your vehicle and you start to work on the estimates, because again, you should already have all your notes based on the walkthrough, the inspection, everything else you talk to about with the homeowner, right? Take a couple of minutes it also gives you a chance to decompress. Like, you're in the house, you're talking for an hour and a half. That'll take a lot out of anybody, right? So you get in your vehicle, you decompress, you put your numbers together. Cool. You go over them once, you go over them twice, right? Just like you Santa Claus. He's checking the list and he's checking it twice, right? So you don't make any mistakes. Make sure you didn't miss anything. Then you go back in the house and you present it to the homeowner. You go through another recap just to make sure you didn't miss anything. Make sure they don't want to add anything. Make sure they don't want to take anything off, right? Because this is how you avoid change orders, right? We went through everything. You told me this was good. You didn't want to subtract anything. You didn't want to add anything. Because now is the time, before I present this price to you, now is the time to talk about anything. Now, you can add change orders at the end when the job, it happens, but it's rare if you ask those type of questions at the beginning, right? So, or before you present price. So then when you present price, you feel confident that you know that it's a job that's going to make you money. It's a number that you can stand on. It's a number that the customer can get behind if you've built the value. We have to build the value. Whether it's a hallway bathroom or whether it's a 4,000 square foot ADU, the value has to be built because the market is saturated, guys. It ain't just us on this call, man. Every dude with a truck and served in the military for 2 years is a contractor.
Mm-hmm.
And
again, everyone sounds the same. That was the first slide, right?
Everybody.
But how many other contractors do you guys know that do all of that?
Do all of what?
Everything we just talked about, right? Building the value, and like even just like giving numbers inside of the home and then standing behind it and asking for business. No one. And that's like immediately going to stand out to the homeowner and be the thing that makes you stand out. Because again, no one else is doing this. And like the biggest, if you're losing, it's probably because you just sound like everybody else.
Yeah. I mean,
everyone has the same pitch, right? We talked about it. Everyone has the same pitch. My work is quality. My work speaks for itself. Everyone else's work sucks. Everyone, if they're underbidding me, it's because their work is cheap. It's going to fall apart in a month after the job's over, right?
Yeah. Oh, wait, what you mean, Mike? You don't know anyone who would be that quick? You on mute, Mike?
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. I was on mute, trying to get there. Well, I don't know anyone who could be that quick. Like, I don't know anyone who's pricing it up that fast,
Well, yeah,
and
really great tool.
Yeah, like in order to, I just feel like from what I've seen so far, the faster you could do it, the faster you can get in there. I feel like I've lost lots of jobs in the past. Like, okay, yeah, traditionally, I'm going home, I'm like looking everything up, I'm pricing all up. I get the price them in a week or a week and a half, and then it's like now they got 8 other people quoting it, and I'm not getting the job that way. So I just feel like exactly what you guys are saying here, as far as the speed goes, the faster you can get it to them, you know, the easier it is for them to make that decision.
Yeah, it sets you apart. It adds a level of professionalism that other guys don't have, right? If you don't think the speed of what you deliver the price
It
is
shows
another.
confidence. You know things.
Exactly. When the other guy takes 3 days, it took you 10 minutes. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is a level of competence that other guys, and again, I'm not saying going home and sending an estimate is incompetence. I'm saying that if I can produce an estimate faster than the next guy, I'm more confident. Homeowner don't care that you use AI to do it. If it's accurate, it's accurate. That's what I'm saying, right?
And this also opens you up to more opportunities because you can put out 3 bids in one day.
That's it.
It's not gonna, like, a lot of guys are spending hours every evening and they're working, like, everyone's worked 12 hours in one day.
Absolutely.
Right? But if, like, you're putting 3 hours on a proposal and then you're emailing it the day after, like, it's gonna weigh on you as a business owner. Like, you're putting all this time, energy to proposal. The homeowner has no idea how hard you worked on this bid
At all.
at all.
They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care that you was up to 2 a.m. trying to get this estimate together. Because we all been there. Everybody on this call have been at 2 a.m, 1, 2 a.m, working on estimates. And don't let it be no insurance job and you got to supplement it. You might be up to 3 a.m, 4 a.m. We've been there, right? This helps save you time. And this, I don't like the phrase time is money, right? I really don't, because time is time, right? Once it's gone, you can't get it back. However, in our business, time is very, very close to money. So if we can close a deal in less time, we can close more deals.
Mm-hmm.
If you can, again, like you said, if I can get an estimate out within minutes instead of days, that means I have more time to close more deals or manage more projects. It all works together for good, right? It's an ecosystem, right? And part of it is that we need to always understand that our time is valuable. We don't want to waste it. So that's why we want to separate ourselves from what the rest of the industry looks like, right? Because if we all just look the same, if you walk into Target and want to buy a new shirt with a collar on it and every shirt is blue, you just pick whichever one you grab first. Or you might flip through to see if any of the blue ones have anything different on them. And you'd be like, oh, they're all the same. Let me just grab this one. That's what homeowners are doing. You got to be the red shirt or the green shirt when everybody else is a blue shirt. You have to separate yourselves from everybody else to give yourselves a chance, like to really stand out. Otherwise, you'll get wildly variable results, and then you'll be like, "Oh man, this don't work." And I ain't talking about quote Magnet. I'm talking about general in contracting, right? Whether it's with us or anybody else, it's just like, "Oh, this don't work. It don't work." You sound like everybody else. If everybody's the same, what makes you
And it
special?
also opens up you to more opportunities because if, let's say, there's an estimate and an appointment, it takes 45 minutes to drive there. And a lot of guys are like, when we're setting up their campaigns or in general, when they're considering their service area, they want to work really local to them. And of course, like, everyone wants to work in the backyard, right? If you could drive 5 minutes to the job site, you do that.
Right.
Obviously, it's better than 30 minutes, and that's better than 1 hour. But I understand why someone would not want to drive 45 minutes for an appointment. If their process was to drive 45 minutes, you spend a whole hour inside the home doing the site estimate, like taking numbers, blah, blah, or not even giving up. You're just taking notes at the end of the day. Then you're driving a whole 45 minutes back, and then you're taking 2 or 3 hours to write this estimate together, and then you're emailing it 2 days later. Like, that's your whole day for one estimate, right?
Literally
a whole day for one estimate, and then you like they didn't even open the email, right? Because it went to junk.
No, for real. Because like then you gotta hope they open the email. Then you gotta chase them and follow up. Like, yeah.
So then I understand if that was the sales process I was running, of course I would want to work within a 5-mile radius because it's going to take so long to put the bid together.
Yeah.
And I can only do 2 of those in a day if they're like relatively close. But now if you learn how to put an estimate together in 5 minutes with AI, and you're able to present numbers inside the home, and you're able to walk away with a check, or at least get a no. I mean, you didn't waste your time, right? You went through the whole process. Of course, I think you'd be much more open to expanding your target radius. You drive an hour for an appointment because you know that you're only going to be there for an hour, and then you're going to get a yes or no either way. And then you can do 2, 3 of those in a day.
Yep.
And you're closing 1 out of 3. that was a fruitful day, right? You walked away with
Great
it.
day. Zayad, I see you got your hand raised. What's up, man?
Yeah, quick one. So I'm 100% open to try this, especially with the bigger projects. I just want to understand what is the what is the way I can limit my risk. So let's say you've got a big project, for example, this new build, okay, 1.6 roughly, right? 1.2 to 1.6, depending on the client, what he wants. He gets a loan from the bank. He gets approved for $1.3 million, right? That is the budget for the project. I win the bid, and then I go to all my subs and I, go the route of, hey guys, this is what the project cost is. Like, give me your bids. Each trade is allotted X amount, right, per trade. We get started, the project starts, and then things kind of get overrun, and you've got now instead of 1.3, it's actually going to cost 1.5, right? Because I did do enough due diligence before signing the bid or the contract.
Sure.
So if the guy got approved for 1.3, he may not be able to get cleared for 1.5. So then where does that leave you? That means you've got the bank's not going to give you that money, right? So now you're essentially frozen. That's my concern.
That should be your concern on any job, right?
Well, I mean, for the smaller jobs, it's easier to understand.
That.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So again, where's you presented a scenario. The question is, how do you trust handoff?
Yeah, like if I'm gonna go and go to a client's house and be like, hey, this is what it's gonna cost you, send him the contract. I already have my contracts ready to go, right? So like, give him the contract, he signs it, and then we get started on the project, and you find out it's actually gonna cost 1.5.
So, I mean, what due diligence is going to change the $200,000 that we're going to be missing from your perspective?
Like having all the contractors come in, do a site visit while you're acquiring all the bids, for example, and then everyone confirms the number. You go through, all the takeoffs properly, and you identify, okay, we need X amount of beams. This is what each one's going to cost. So I'm just hypothetically, right? Like if you get to that point, if from your experience, what is the way to go to be able to finish the project?
Well, from my experience is that like you only take getting bit in the ass one time before you realize like how you need to move forward. Like seriously, don't let these subs run it up on you. Also, that's what handoff isn't going to lead you astray. I assure you. The amount of beams that you're going to need when you're building they're not going to be wrong on that, right? It's going to be very accurate. Mike, I'm going to get to you when I finish this thought. So subs they work with you, but they also work against you, right? Because they're third party essentially, and they're trying to make as much money as they can, right? They will overestimate something and have, okay, you ever been on a project and you had a bunch of stuff left over?
Like extra bags of
material.
cement or material?
Just material in general.
Yeah.
Why is that? Now, obviously, you need to have more than what you need, but it's because these guys are literally, they want you to order it so they can charge you for it. They don't care what happens when you got to send it back. This is a Zayad sub conversation, right? Talk to them before you go to this, so when the numbers come that they're accurate, that they're going to be okay with the job. If you let them tell you what they need, they will always charge you more than what you actually should be paying.
Okay.
Maybe this should be the topic of another one of these masterminds. Would be like how to organize your subs.
Yeah,
how to keep accountability there.
Otherwise, they cut into your.
A lot of people don't realize everyone's trying to make the most amount of money possible, right? That's just this game.
They cut into your margins, plain and simple. Mike, go ahead real quick before I know it's 1:59. We ain't gonna hold you guys all day.
So Zayad, and for anyone else who's thinking about maybe trying to hand off, what I would recommend is it's free, right? So just download it, plug in a job you did in the past, and see how close the numbers come. And you can adjust the margin, so then it starts falling in where you needed to fall in, and then
Yep.
your numbers are going to be right.
Yep.
Mhm.
I mean, that's kind of like what I did. I played around with it, and then I started to see, okay, where do my margins need to be based on what it's telling me, and that's why I'm able to, like that one other job that I told you guys earlier that I did. It was a $25,000 bathroom. Literally, when I did the estimate, it was within $200 of what I did the estimate the long way by hand, looking everything up and spending all this time into it, and that it took me 15 minutes to do it, and that was like the first or second one I did, and that's the only reason why it took 15 minutes, because it probably would have taken me 5 if not.
Yeah. So, like to expound on what Mike says, try it again. It's free. Put in something that you already have priced out,
Yeah. Okay.
and go again detailed as you need to be, as you would be with a homeowner, and see what number comes out for it with the margin that you're trying to make, and see if the numbers aren't dang near spot on, man. I'm telling you. So then you can feel confident when you show up. But yeah, I think we definitely, I think our next one might have to be on talking about how we handle subs, man, because
That
I
would be
think
helpful. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you
let's get
know,
to it. Like, I want, like, this call is not going to change anything for you unless you have something that's like you actually change your actions as well, right? Like, information is only as good as you apply it.
absolutely.
So what is going to be your number one takeaway from this call? Not like what you learned, but like, what are you going to change about the way you're currently doing things to be better? So it's going to be a different answer for most people,
Yeah,
right?
most
But
certainly.
I think most people are going to say is like, okay, the next appointment that you go on from one of our leads or from any service, like, you're not leaving that home without putting a number in front of them.
Yeah. I don't care if it's our lead, a referral, don't matter. If you there, Mike say be as quick as pricing. No,
It's
being
quick.
quick with pricing will help you close more deals, right?
It shows
But
confidence.
it shows extreme, right? So we have to, if you don't take anything away from this call, right? I want you guys to not leave houses, not leave appointments, not leave leads without asking for the business. And if you don't feel confident in your numbers, use handoff. Like I said, it's free. Use it beforehand on a job that you already done for a reference, so you can feel like you can have that trust that if you put in the right things, like you were doing your estimates that are painstaking, and see like, dang, I just did 3 hours worth of work and they got it done in 10 minutes. Then you can feel confident using it in the house or going back to your car to actually present the price to the homeowner, right? So the number one takeaway from this call today is going to be, we leaving here with something, right? Don't leave the house without presenting the price the first time, because your time is more valuable than the homeowners, man. I don't make them feel that way, but I'm telling you the truth. They're sitting at home. They're watching TV. You're running a business. Your time is way more valuable than theirs. Treat your time like it's valuable. And part of that is getting those numbers to them the same day and asking for the business the same day.
In person.
In person. It's called a proposal for a reason, right? Lan, you married, you understand. Zayed, you married, you understand. You didn't ask your wife's hand in marriage through an email. It's called a proposal. This is something that needs to be done face to face.
That's right.
Don't be afraid of the nose, fella. We gonna lose sometimes, but we gonna win enough to make it worth our time. Trust me.
Yep.
So I appreciate you guys jumping on with us.
Was that what? But I want to hear in the chat. Was that valuable?
Yeah. How
Oh
y'all
yeah,
feel?
Yeah, it was.
it was super valuable. I definitely needed this. It's like, it's good reminders, and yeah, it's just gonna take some determination on our part, or my part, I should say, to because to be honest with you, I was thinking about hiring a salesperson and let him deal with all of this. But
I mean, you shouldn't be hiring us. You can do $1 million, $2 million a year just running bids yourself.
By yourself, man. Especially with
That should be
handoff,
the
right?
last thing that you delegate is the sales.
Yeah. At
Because
this
no
point,
one's going to close as well as the owner. It doesn't matter how good they are. They're never going to close as much as the owner is going to be able to close and instill confidence. Because you know your own company and your own product.
yeah.
And sales is the highest value ROI of your time as the owner.
Yeah.
So you know, fiddling with, you know, some sort of blog post or some sort of like thing you're going to post online, that can be delegated, right? It's like $2 or $3 an hour. Sitting in front of a homeowner or literally sitting in front of a homeowner face to face presenting numbers, that's like a $5,000 an hour activity of your time.
Okay.
If you think about
Yeah.
it,
You know,
you're in the home for an hour and the job's 50,000.
Yeah.
What's the hourly on that?
5. Yep. Easy.
So that should be what you're doing all day long.
yeah. You gotta think about it that way, right? Hiring somebody, I'm not saying not hiring people, like, because once you really get the scale, great. Like, but that first year that I was in business, I ran leads. I ain't trust nobody else with my money, right? I started my business. I put up 35K. My partner put up 35K. I ain't letting nobody mess with. That's like if I would have gave it to somebody else, it's like going to casino, and I'm the only person I trust with my money. So I had to do it before I built it, before we hired sales teams and everything, and we trained them up in the way that our system went, right? Y'all got too much invested in this right now to really be handing it off to somebody else. Hand it off the handoff, and that's it. Like, that's it. Like, right now, you got to trust yourself, right?
I don't know if we have time to address this, but one of the things that keeps coming up, just in talking to other contractors, also is I did a little coaching thing, and they said, you know, stop giving away free estimates, start charging for estimates to build value.
Nah, that don't work. It's 2025.
No.
When I first got in this business, it was $90 just to show up for an estimate, man. But if you see how much business you don't get to charge people for an estimate, go ahead.
It doesn't make sense. The people that are doing that is because they're bad at sales and they don't expect to close the job. Like,
They just won't,
think about it. Like, okay, let's say you start charging $90 to show up.
Yeah.
And let's say hypothetically that cuts off 50% of people. So you're going to get half as many estimates in person. Like, is that worth, like, so you're making maybe a couple $100 from that? I mean, I think the whole idea though is like you're mentally just trying to screen away the people that aren't qualified. Like, that's kind of maybe what you're going for there.
Correct.
But if you're closing at 33% because you're actually doing it the right way, like, would you rather take the $90 or would you rather show up and you get a 1 in 3 chance of a $20,000, $40,000 project?
Or more, right? Like, I understand, like, you're going to get less leads, right? You're going to get less people because when I got in this business, we charged for estimates, but then like everybody started the free estimate thing, right? And the free estimate is not a bad, I know guys think it is, man. You just got to be able to sell. You got to be able to it's a hook, man. It gets people engaged. If you say, look, plumbers charge $90 to show up, right? HVAC guys, they charge a fee, but they're also providing a same day service. Like, they're fixing something. To ask somebody for money to tell them it's going to cost more money is really cutting yourself off at the knees, right? Guys who still want to charge for estimates don't know how to sell. I ain't even gonna like parse my words or nothing. You'll get less people and you still got to close them. So if you're closing at 30%, if you had 10 leads and you cut it in half, boom, now you got 5 leads. Now you better be dangerous.
Yeah, why do you want to ride everything on one estimate? Like
you better, but it's like, oh, I ain't get the job, but I made $100. Come on, man. If you had to drive 30 miles, $100, you just spent half of it in gas.
And that's probably the mentality of like they think they're recouping their costs, but it's again because like they don't know how to sell.
It's a sunken cost fallacy, is what it is.
Like, they don't know how to sell. That's why they want to charge, because they don't want to waste their time and they think that they're but like they're just not doing it right way. Yeah. Like, I guarantee the guys that are doing those $100 estimates, like, they're literally going home and they're doing the estimate and they're sending the email and they think that's the service.
Yeah.
Like pat yourself on the back. You sent them an email.
Now again, ADUs, additions, sure. Design fees, pre-development, that got a cost to it. So It's only $1,000 in California, but that's crazy. I hate that for him. You know, like you said, there you go, Mosa. Free estimate is the bait to hook 'em. We fishing, boys. We got to cast a wide net. Like the free estimate is just gonna. It's like
Again,
you
we're in
got
sales. It's like the guys that are charging for an estimate, they don't identify as
they're
a salesperson. They identify
nope
as a contractor and they're
or
or a
taking.
designer or an architect or an engineer or like they think that they're better than a sales rep, but they're gonna make less money.
Yeah. So like
It's
you
like
have to be all of these things, right? Like Zayad, you're an engineer, right? Like, but you have to
Yeah.
also be a salesperson, right? You can't
Yeah.
you can't just come in and be like, I'm an engineer. And they'll be like, oh great, where do I sign? Like,
yeah, like I'll tell like we work with Level Design and Level Engineering out of Denver. They did $1
yep,
million with us in the last like 2 or 3 months with a free
crushing it.
estimate.
With free estimates is the
Because they're doing
hook.
ADUs additions and they don't charge for an estimate. They have a second company, Level Engineering. They charge for an engineering consultation fee, but they're not doing new builds with the Level Engineering. They're doing like literally an engine. They'll charge $400. The engineer will come out to the site and then they will look and see is there foundation issues. There's something that needs to be
Yeah.
done here, right?
Yeah, spider cracks, foundation crack, those like real things that like homeowners don't know that they need engineers for,
And
right?
they're getting like $2,000 to $3,000 for like doing that.
Right. And
But then
they
what's ultimately
crush it.
gonna but they're making way more money on the addition new build side, and they're doing free estimate.
Yeah. So don't be afraid of the word free, right? It's just a bait, man.
And by the way,
And
like that Level Design, they did $1 million. They got like what 100 leads over the course of 2 or 3 months, and they got
easy.
So if you look at the closing rate, it's like really low. They're probably closing like maybe 10 or 20%, but it's like the jobs are so big.
They were like 26%. Me and Miles met yesterday.
They're
But
closing
again,
26%.
at like 26%, they're already $1 million plus. They've been with us for like 3 months. But again, they have, I will say that their sales guy, Nate, he's a monster, right? I'll give him his just due. He is fantastic. They cast a wide net.
Yeah. What
And
they don't charge to show up.
They don't charge to show up, and he comes in. He's a consummate professional. How he approaches these things with homeowners, and
Also, like I just thought about this. This is kind of like not what the question was, but if I was a homeowner and I didn't pay anything and then you showed up and then you provided this like what I feel like is a service because you really explained to me and educated me on what this should cost and then you went through this whole proposal and then you were a professional, you sat down in front of me and you asked for my business and I hadn't given you anything yet, like I hadn't paid for you to come to my house, I would feel more obliged to give something in return and say yes, we can work together versus if I already paid you $120 to show up and then you went through this exact same service, but I don't really feel as compelled to say yes in that moment to give back to you because I already paid.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
like I already paid this 100. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud, but I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else. But like I already paid this $120, and so you already got what I paid for. So you can go
Yeah.
home now.
Yeah, because again, I
Like, I
said
don't know if that
earlier.
makes sense to me, but like I just thought about that.
No, it's true because
Like people
I
want
paid
to
you
give
for-
back. Like if we
I
provide
paid you-
something for free, they want to help back out. Like that's
Well, I think most people are saying that if they charge for getting a quote, then you have a you have a lead that's serious and actually
it goes back
committing,
to,
right?
They're
Yeah,
just
I get it, but I guess that's the mindset some people might have is like, oh, if this guy's willing to pay for it, then he's actually serious versus someone who's
No.
shopping around.
I mean, but they'll still there's people who pay when we were charging for estimates. I wasn't batting 1,000. Like, what do you mean? There are people that will pay $300 to 3 different companies and still not buy anything. Like you still have to close them. Like the steps don't change once they pay. If they pay, you just get less chances because you're asking them to pay. And like you said, like Nick said, the moment they got their estimate from you, that might just be like they just feel like it's a service fee. I don't have to make a decision. Obviously, they don't never have to make a decision, but just the estimate is coming in there, walking through, taking some photos, taking some measurements. I'll send you an estimate. It costs $90, $100. If you go with me, great. If not, I made $100 in an hour. So you feel like I made $100 in an hour. But what you're not thinking about is that you have to drive there, you have to drive back. So let's just add another hour. Let's say it's a half an hour drive each way. So
and again, like if you identify as a salesperson, you're just gonna understand like
Yeah.
that's part of the game.
it is like
Like,
that's
it's just part of the
that's
game. Like if
Yes.
you're a contractor, then you're frustrated because you feel like you waste your time. But if you're a salesperson, you just identify that as a part of the game, and then you're just
Yeah.
able to keep going and keep going.
We have to identify ourselves as salespeople when we're in the home. Like we are salespeople because again, we're contractors, but if you're a contractor with no contract, what are you? Right? Like you're just wasting your time. Let's see what this is. Free estimate, genuine smile, branding, van clothes, educational experience, customer service experience really helps. Absolutely. All this is when they feel the vibe is right and the stigma of contractors disappear, they start warming up to you. Bravo. I couldn't have said it better myself because we do have to overcome the stigma of contractors. I already told you, used car salesman, home improvement, the two most complained about by the Better Business Bureau. So we have to overcome their preconceived notions of us anyway. How many times have we been in a house and it's because people are already on edge and defensive when we show up? Like they didn't ask you to be there, but they're like, "Oh, I ain't buying nothing today." Relax. The price is good for a year. That's what I say.
Even though it's not right, but you just say that because it reduces
I
the
mean,
edge.
I'll keep the price for a year longer, if they really want to hope. Nobody's ever used the year price with me, so I don't. But it is good for a year if they want it that way.
And most, I mean, I see you. I don't know if I haven't seen you much in the community. I don't know if the name is wrong on the Zoom call, but I hope we're gonna be doing this every week. So
Yeah.
It is this is Noble Designs.
oh, Novu, what's up?
What's up,
Nobu, my guys, what's up?
What's up, man? I've been with my partner. I mean, we've been running around.
You guys have the hustle though.
What was that?
Yeah.
You guys have the hustle. I knew you guys I can tell when you guys come into our program that they're gonna make it work.
Y'all got the energy, man. Like if we could just get the type of energy y'all guys show up with, and we like, this is supposed to be fun, man. Like it's work for sure, but I think too many times we're like this, top button on our shirt buttoned up, and it's like, yeah, I'm a contractor. Take me seriously. Like, no, this is fun. Make the
Hey, you know what it
homeowners
is?
have fun.
That's a very good point that you make because a lot of the clients we go, the best clients are women. All right. It's
Always.
the man of the house is, they give the finances because the wife is saying, "Hey, I want this."
More times
But the
than not.
wife is the one that ultimately makes the decision or whatever, the significant other. And if you can get cool with them, if you can build rapport with them, you won the job. I mean,
Yep.
a lot of the times, believe it or not, I hear people say, "I'm feeling the vibes." And I'm like, what does that even mean? But sure, I'll take it. You know what I
No,
mean?
it's true though. Most times you go in
Yeah.
a house, it's a man and a woman. The man's like, I don't care.
Women are like 80% of buyers in the economy. They run the economy.
They are
It's
the
true.
economy.
They are
It's
the
true.
economy.
A man
Oh.
says, "Oh, I make every decision," and I'm like,
No, you don't.
"All right,
The wife makes the decision.
come on, man. Listen, man, you ain't got to prove nothing macho to me, right? I know don't nothing move in my house without my wife.
Right.
All right.
I'm
Well,
not.
I gotta jump to catch a
Yeah.
flight because I'm traveling this weekend. But if you guys need more one-on-one help, like that's what Willie's here for. I know you guys are
course,
working with
of
us,
course.
and you guys, growing a business is difficult, and we know
Yeah.
that. That's why we're trying to do this more publicly. But the
Yeah.
one-on-one help is always there. You guys can meet with us every day if you want to.
Literally, as
So
long
you
as I
guys,
got
if
time
you
on
need
my
anything,
schedule.
you're like, man, or Zaya, do you have this 1.4, $1.5 million job working on? You need help in terms of like figuring out the sub situation. Like that's a call that you and Willie can go over and just like iron that out.
Yeah.
So just reach out to us. You guys have the booking link.
Yep. So we're gonna make this a weekly thing, right? We're gonna make this a weekly thing. However, the next 2 Fridays, I won't be in office. So, Nick, if you want to, I don't know how we want to do that.
Yeah.
You
I
hopping
have some
on?
ideas. I know I can help people.
Of course. So we still rolling it, but I'll see you guys in I guess it'll be 3 Fridays, right? But we want to keep this thing going because I told all of you guys individually, and I mean it. It's not just lip service. I want to see you guys win. I want to see you guys grow. I want to see you guys build. I know it takes time, effort, and structure, right? And as long as you guys give me that and trust in what we telling y'all and implement these things, the wins are going to come, right? So let's just keep building, fellas.
Let's keep building.
Let's keep
All right.
building.
Enjoy your Labor Day.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day.
All right.
All right. Take care,
All right.
everyone.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Yes, sir.